Will you marry me and leave this life behind?
The words hit like a punch to the gut. Marry her. Ethan Caldwell's voice cracked with disbelief, cutting through the musty air of his late father's cluttered law office. The woman I saw sleeping under the Franklin Street overpass? Is this your sick joke, Henry? Or did my father's madness finally write itself into his will? Henry Brooks, the elderly lawyer with tired eyes and a face lined with sympathy, just shook his head, the crumpled will of Marcus Caldwell lying like a challenge on the mahogany desk between them. Outside, the wail of sirens on Philadelphia's gritty streets echoed the looming collapse of Caldwell News Network. A collapse that Ethan, the 40-year-old CEO in a crisp-tailored suit and a heart rumored to be colder than the Delaware River's winter chill, now faced a ridiculous condition to prevent. The air in Henry Brooks' small office, tucked on a narrow cobblestone street in Philly's old city, smelled of old books and heavy silence. Ethan Caldwell, interim CEO of Caldwell News Network, sat rigid in a creaky leather chair. His sleek suit looked out of place in the faded room, just like he felt in the absurd terms of his father's will. Ethan's sharp, handsome face was drawn, his gray-green eyes dull with exhaustion and a flicker of dread. Henry, with thinning silver hair and kind but weary eyes behind round glasses, cleared his throat, shattering the quiet. He read the will's final lines, his voice flat. To inherit the entire estate, including the controlling stake in Caldwell News Network and a $500 million trust fund, you, Ethan Marcus Caldwell, must marry within 30 days of this will's reading. Ethan barely blinked. His father, Marcus, the eccentric media mogul, had pulled too many stunts in life for this to shock him. But Henry's next words hit harder. If you fail, the estate goes to the National Shorthair Cat Rescue League. Ethan's laugh was sharp, bitter, like broken glass. Cats. His father, who built a media empire with an iron grip, who controlled every corner of Ethan's life, now dangled his legacy on a marriage or donated it to a bunch of cats. Caldwell News Network, the family's crumbling pride, was bleeding money from Marcus's bad calls in his final years. Creditors hounded them. Rivals smelled blood. And now this, a marriage within a month, was Ethan's only shot to save it. Sir, Henry said, his voice soft but heavy, today is day one. You have 29 days to find a bride. Or get used to cats. Ethan's blood boiled. Anger, shame, and raw desperation churned inside him. He needed a wife, not for love, not for joy, but to keep the promise he made to his late mother, a gentle woman long gone, to protect her life's work. The next few days were a blur of nightmares. Ethan had no time or heart to chase a society girl or plan a proper marriage. He needed something fast, clean, with no strings. A fake wife crossed his mind, but the risk of scandal or blackmail in his fragile position was too high. He buried himself in work, hunting for other ways to save the company, but every door slammed shut. The will's marriage clause hung like a guillotine. Sleepless, Ethan drove through Philly's dark streets, his sleek Mercedes weaving past neon-lit bars and quiet row houses. He drifted into rougher neighborhoods, places his polished world never touched, seeing a city of struggle, broken streetlights, tired faces, lives far from his own. One chilly November night, rain slicked the streets, and a biting wind stung his face through the car window. Driving near the Schuylkill River, under the faint glow of a flickering street lamp, Ethan spotted a figure curled under the Franklin Street overpass. A tattered blanket shielded them from the drizzle. Something, maybe his own desperation, made him slow down and watch. It was a woman. Her clothes were worn, her dark hair tangled, but she wasn't just lying there. She sat against a concrete pillar, reading a battered paperback under the weak light, occasionally tugging the blanket to protect the pages from the rain. Ethan didn't know why he stopped. Maybe it was the strangeness of it, a homeless woman reading in the cold. He got out, his polished shoes splashing on wet pavement. She flinched at his footsteps, looking up. In the dim light, he saw her face. Young, maybe 30s, thin but striking, with sharp, intelligent features. Her eyes, big, deep hazel, like a stormy sky, held resilience, weariness, and a quiet sadness that caught him off guard. "Who are you?" Ethan asked, his voice rougher than he meant. She clutched the book to her chest, eyes narrowing with distrust. "What do you want?" "I have a deal," he said, cutting to the point. "Want money and a place to stay for a while?" Her gaze sharpened. "Who are you? What's the catch?" "I'm Ethan Caldwell, and I need a wife fast." He held her stare. "Marry me for a year, and I'll pay you $100,000. We divorce, you walk away with cash and a fresh start. I get what I need. He didn't mention the will, just muttered about personal reasons. Her hazel eyes studied him, searching for lies. $100,000. A home, she said, almost to herself. It was a dream she couldn't imagine in her world of bridges and hunger. But suspicion lingered. Why me? A nobody like me? Ethan shrugged, hiding the strange pull he felt. You're the first I've met who doesn't seem like trouble. I'm out of time. She was quiet, thinking. Her desperation flickered, then hardened into resolve. I'm Lily Harper, she said. I'll do it, but on 2 conditions. I keep my book and my stuff. And there's a friend, Maggie, at a nearby shelter. She's sick, needs medicine. You help her. Ethan nodded without pause. Done. He hadn't expected her to care about someone else in her state. Under that cold Philly overpass, a deal was struck between a desperate CEO and a mysterious woman. The next morning, they married at City Hall, a quick, quiet affair. Only Ethan, Lily in simple clothes he'd bought her, and Henry Brooks witnessed it. No real rings, just plain bands Henry provided. No flowers, no joy, just paperwork and awkward silence. Lily Harper, penniless and unknown, was now Mrs. Caldwell. Lily stepped into Ethan's sleek penthouse, overlooking the Philly skyline and the Delaware River. The place was all sharp lines and cold glass, modern but lifeless. She felt small, out of place, a stranger in this world of wealth. Ethan showed her to a guest room, big, clean, but as chilly as the rest of the place. He was polite but distant, like she was a business partner, not a wife. He gave her clothes, essentials, and a small allowance, but set clear rules. Stay in her room, don't wander, don't talk to anyone without his say. This is business, Miss Harper, he said. Know your place. But Ethan couldn't ignore her. Cleaned up, Lily was striking. Her pale skin glowed, her dark hair shone, and those hazel eyes, sharp, sad, alive, drew him in. He noticed she spent hours reading, devouring her tattered book and his small library. Her hunger for knowledge surprised him. This wasn't just some homeless woman. They barely spoke, except when Ethan needed Mrs. Caldwell, at events to satisfy Henry and the curious board. Lily shared bits of her past carefully. She'd studied journalism at a top East Coast school, had a promising career at a small investigative paper. Then something went wrong. Betrayal, she said, that cost her everything. Job, home, trust. She didn't elaborate, and Ethan, though curious, kept his distance, not wanting to care. At events, Lily surprised him again. Shy at first in the glitzy, fake world of Philly's elite, she found her footing. She didn't flaunt or flatter, but listened, watched, and dropped sharp, smart comments that turned heads. Her quiet charm shone, even in simple dresses. Nathan Pierce, Ethan's rival and a cunning board member, took notice. A slick tycoon in his 50s with a predator's smile, Nathan sensed something off about Ethan's sudden marriage. He started digging into Lily's past. Meanwhile, Caldwell News Network faced a new storm. Its flagship paper, the Philly Beacon, was sued by a powerful senator for false articles that smeared him. The lawsuit demanded millions and threatened the paper's license. The company's shaky reputation teetered on the edge. Ethan was drowning, knowing this could end everything. Lily, despite Ethan's orders to stay out of his business, overheard his frantic calls and saw his stress. She found lawsuit papers he'd left in the study. Her old journalist instincts kicked in. The evidence against the Beacon felt too neat, too perfect. She sensed a setup. One night, she approached him in the study, his face shadowed with worry. Mr. Caldwell, she said carefully, I know you don't want me in your business, but I've seen the Beacon lawsuit papers. Something's not right. Ethan's eyes narrowed, tired and skeptical. What do you know about this, Miss Harper? This is media, not your books. Lily didn't flinch. I was a journalist. I know investigations. This smells like a lie. It was the first time she'd hinted at her past so clearly. Ethan stared, torn between doubt and desperation. Fine, he said, voice hard but hopeful. Show me what you've got. Lily threw herself into the Philly Beacon case with a fire Ethan hadn't seen before. Her guest room turned into a war room, papers stacked, notes pinned to walls, her hazel eyes sharp with focus. Ethan, still doubtful, gave her the full case file. She dug in, finding holes in the evidence. Witnesses ignored, details clashing, signs of tampering. She looped in Henry Brooks, who started to see her as more than a hired wife, and a young Beacon reporter, Jake, eager to save the paper. Days blurred into nights as Ethan and Lily worked side by side. They pored over files, chased leads, hit dead ends. The pressure and danger grew. Someone was watching. Lily got anonymous threats. Ethan's penthouse was broken into, only lawsuit papers touched. One night, while Lily chased a lead in a sketchy part of town, thugs cornered her, grabbing for her bag. Ethan, who'd been tailing her after spotting the threats, jumped in. He took a few hits but fought them off, pulling Lily to safety. In that moment, shielding her, something shifted. Walls between them cracked. As they caught their breath, Lily's old press card fell from her bag. Ethan picked it up, stunned. "Sparrow," he said. "You're Sparrow, the journalist who exposed the Titan Corp scandal 5 years ago?" Lily's eyes filled with tears. She nodded, spilling the truth. After breaking the Titan Corp story, where Nathan Pierce was a key player, he'd destroyed her. Lies, threats, and power plays cost her career, friends, safety. She'd hidden, changed her name, and ended up on the streets. This Beacon lawsuit, with its slick setup and Pierce's shadow, felt too familiar. She had to fight back. Ethan pulled her close, his heart swelling with awe, pity, and something deeper, love. She wasn't just a wife for hire. She was a hero who'd lost everything. He swore to protect her. With Lily's evidence and her story tying Pierce to past crimes, Ethan called a board meeting, inviting media and regulators. There Lily, Sparrow Harper, stood tall. Her voice steady, she laid out Pierce's plot to sink Caldwell News Network for a cheap takeover, using the senator as a pawn. Her evidence was ironclad, her story raw with pain and truth. She cleared the Beacon's name and exposed Pierce as a fraud. Ethan stood by her, gripping her hand, pride in his eyes. He called her the heart of their fight, the woman who saved his company, and him. Pierce's empire crumbled under the weight of truth and public fury. He faced investigations, his schemes exposed. Lily and Ethan, bound by a deal, found something real. The city's skyline glowed outside, a beacon of their shared victory and a new beginning.